about whether or not I was going to do a live today. I was going to do a live yesterday, and I couldn't. And I got to tell you, folks, this year is catching up to me. You know, hey Sam, hey Sassy. This year's catching up to me, and I'm not gonna bore you with what's going on and how many people have passed away in the past year that I actually know. Um, Friends, family, YouTube family. It's it's been really hard. Okay. And there's a lot of things going on in my life right now. And is it okay if if I share? Right? Um, I know Sam. I know Sam. And I'm grateful you're here. Um, I'll say hi to everybody in a minute. I'm going to cut my hair. I swear to God, I'm going to cut it off. Hey, MB. Well, it's kind of to be expected. We're at like the 4-year mark of a lot of stuff that has happened. And we now know a lot of stuff that went on 4 years ago is now heavily impacting our lives. And short hair may rock, but I actually don't want to cut my hair because it's falling out, or at least it feels like it is. I don't want to cut my hair because it's like, do you know how trees have roots that go deep, 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 deeper than we'll ever know when we cut one down or even pull one up or pull a stump? Why do you think stumps are so hard to pull? Well, my hair is kind of like my roots, but going upwards. Does that make any sense? Thank you, Lori. Lori, thank you very much. I don't want to talk about it because I'll get really, really emotional. But there's a lot of things. Oh, well, thank you, Sassy. I'm glad. Doesn't that make sense? It's like my roots to the celestial, right? So, yeah, it's going to need a trim real soon. But do I have... Oh, hang on, just let me get it up. And this is my second hairbrush that seems to be going to break on me. I need one with a solid, like the whole piece. This whole piece is one solid thing, and then bristles like this. Give me a second here, folks. I had a headache all day yesterday. I'm telling you, folks, I'm trying to rest. I'm trying to, but it's not working. Okay, I'm going to get organized here in a minute, okay? Well, I get it, Lena K. Hi, Donna. I'll say hi to everybody. No, I can't either, Sam. I can't either. I can't talk about it right now. Last week we heard of a friend that we lost who we were dear friends with years and years ago when before Briar was born. And just because we have not seen him since Briar was a baby, it doesn't mean that it hurts any less. I've known this man almost as long as I've known Howard. And he was dear friends with Howard. And I'll never forget, his name was Billy Hawken. And I'll never forget when I was first pregnant with Briar. And We were living in Peterborough and our basement apartment flooded. For some reason, there were stairs that came down to our basement apartment, but there was no covering over them. There was no like house or out, and there was a drain at the bottom of the stairs, but the drain, we just had a torrential downpour and our whole apartment flooded. And I came home from grocery shopping because I would go grow. I'd only had my driver's license for like 2 years. I'd go grocery shopping on payday, right? And I come home and I see a strange car in the driveway, and I come downstairs and all the rugs are torn up, and Howie goes, "Where have you been?" I said, "Grocery shopping. It's Friday." And I said, "What the hell's going on?" And I was just pregnant with Briar. And I went, and he said, "The apartment's flooded." And we ended up redoing the floors, most of the stuff ourselves, for a reduction in rent. But it ended up flooding again. I was just pregnant with Briar. It was September. So May, June, July, August. I was 4 months pregnant with Briar. And Billy was there with Howie. Billy Hawken was there with Howie. And he took one look at my face and he said, "You guys can't stay here. You got to come home with me." Right? And I went, but, and he said, "No buts, Bev." He said, and when we went to Billy and his wife's house, Jan, and he was putting poofies under my feet and bringing me cups of tea. And I go, "Billy, our apartment flooded. I'm not in danger." He said, You're going to be a mama. And that's really, really, really important. So you just relax and let us pamper you a little bit. I got no mods in here? Well, Sam, how about you? Go out and come back in. Go out and come back in, Sam. Is it just crops, or can I include flower seeds as well? I encourage crops. But if you want to add herbs and stuff, or you want to add edible flowers like nasturtiums, you can do that too, right? Nasturtium's nature's pepper, Canadian pepper. My son's girlfriend lost her grandmother last night. Walking him through, helping her, he's like, "The service is Friday and I have work." I said, "You take off work to be with her." Absolutely. Absolutely. And we knew this was going to come. We knew that 2024 was going to be the year of everything being revealed. All the lies we've been told being revealed. But I kind of expected, I don't want to say that word. I don't want to say that phrase. I've been expecting the ill health in friends and loved ones to come to in a wave, in a tsunami. It looks like it's starting. Hey, there she is. Sam's now a moderator. Thank you. So, let's talk about something else. Raise your hand if you're happy with your election in the U.S. If you're from the U.S. and you're happy with the results, let me know. I thought I knew the name. How you doing? Hey. I'm going to give it another couple of minutes before I come right out and say, "Oh, that's awesome. I'm so glad to see it." Hey, Stephen, how are you, darling? Yeah. It almost feels like the USA has had enough, and it's come right back around to where it should have been 4 years ago. Does that make sense? Heard of a lady I knew who was out on a trail ride in Kananaskis County, fell 150 feet from a cliff, passed away. Prayers for all those who knew her and her family. Oh, honey. I don't know where you get the pink hands. They're in the emojis. They're in the first emoji. Now it's my country's turn. You're absolutely right, Stephen. Are you done with your harvest yet, darling? I actually still have celery out there. And we're going to get on some lighter topics. Let's now, yeah, it is my country's turn. We need to oust the criminally idiotic prime minister we have in place. All right, I'm going to pop out the, okay, everybody say hi. You got 20 seconds to say hi. Snow on the ground. Well, it was really mild yesterday, and it was really mild last night, and now the cold is coming in. There we go. Everybody say hello so that you will be on my participants list, and I can say hi to everybody. Well, everybody's going to blame global warming, but you know the truth, right? Excuse me, I shouldn't say it that way. Everybody's going to blame climate change, but you do remember green Christmases when you were a kid. Raise your hand if you remember green Christmases occasionally when you were a kid. It's called the natural cycle of things. All right, let's pop out the participants list. BlackRock, hello Kimmy, Dana Baker, Donna Clinton, Donna Law, MBL, Elise. Now, what's your husband's name, Elise? Freaky Geek, Karen Ludwig, Kathy Ponder, hello darling, Kathy Pinkstaff, hello darling, Kim Solomon, hello, everybody's darling today. Limit Access, Lori, I got the hiccups, Lori Lazor McChesney, MPH, whatever that means, Mary Howlett, Martha Holcomb, Our Journey Homestead, Pamela, Phoebe Long, Plain Jane, Red, Rita's Fat, Robin's Nest, Sam, I love you, Sam. I love you all. Sassy Because, Sherry Leach, Silver and Blackie, Stephen Seedfeld, T-Birds. Why does that make me think of a song? Tweedlet, tweedlet, tweedledee. Teresa Henson, Terry Gadke, Tina Elliott. How is everybody doing today? Oh, I'm so happy. Hi, Brenda Hoffer, Sabra Gum, Mike, but he's driving at the moment, so he's just listening. Hi, Mike. Keep your eyes on the road. I love you too, Auntie. You call me Auntie Bev. It makes me feel so good. My Sammy. One of these days, Sam, I'm going to come to the British Isles. Howie's family is from Howie's mother's family, her father. Howie's granddad on his mom's side came from on the orphan ships of Wales. He was a tough old mean bugger, I heard. And his dad's side of the family come from Ireland. And my family comes from England and Scotland for the most part. And both of us go all the way back to Vikings. Both of us. So we want to come. Red wave. Yeah, we had a red wave. That's what I found interesting is you got the red wave and it's a good thing. But if we got the red wave, it would decimate the rest of our country. Our country is at the point of becoming completely under a dictator. It's almost under a dictatorship now. Hi, Nicole. It might be black for you, but we can still see your posts. What do you mean black? Hang on a second. Hang on a second. Let me close the chat here and see what's going on. Hang on. Yeah, I'm still here. Oh, it's a commercial. Go out and come back in, honey. Go out and come back in. I'm going to pop the chat back out. D. Dobble, how are you? Look up the Clarefield Doctrine. Very important course case back in the 40s. Well, the way I see things is, wow, does that orange ever pop out the turquoise on me, eh? Let's see. Which do you like better? I'll see it. I lose the pop out of the orange, the blue on the orange. I had to, you were froze. Okay. makes a post for me, blank black, I can't see. I've been timed out, but not. Oh my goodness. I have a ginger Scottish cat sitting on my lap. He says, hi. Hello, Angus. Here, kitty, 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 kitty. Brow. 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 Hey, Lori. Wow, where have you been? I'm okay. Here's the deal. It's November. November's always a really hard month for me. You got Remembrance Day, which was always an emotional day for me, which is on November 11th. But then my father passed away 24 years ago on November 10th. And then this year, we've lost a lot of friends and family, not just like in our home and in our lives, but also on YouTube. And it can be pretty disheartening. There's also the fact that I have been 4 nights now without lorazepam. I have the lorazepam now. Howie picked it up yesterday. But, and melatonin works okay, but after 4 days, I have to stop. So, oh, Sam. Debbie's Witchy Vila. Hi, Deb. How's it going? I changed my personal channel name. I'm sorry I couldn't make your live stream. That's okay, sweetheart. That's okay. There's always going to be a Freaky Friday. These are folks that had me on a live stream with them. And it was fun. It was fun. And I talked way too much. And but I'm going to invite them onto my live stream. Yeah, we all have. And here, well, Sherry, if I don't stop it after 4 or 5 days, it stops working. And it works, but not until the next day. It's like it builds up in my system, and then I go around like a zombie for a day or two. This Thanksgiving, I won't have my family to visit. They are traveling. I can't go since I have my fur babies to take care of. Doesn't mean you can't have Thanksgiving, right? Because as much as things are going crazy in the world, doesn't it feel like we're turning a corner now? All right? Doesn't it feel like the world is turning a corner? That the woke ideologies of politicians and stuff are coming crashing down. But, you'll have us. Absolutely, Phoebe. There you go. Make your own dinner and enjoy it. Be good to yourself. I don't even have a video for tomorrow. The USA might actually have a chance. Yes, I hope so. I hope so. 8 years ago. Oh, Lori. Hi, Rosie. Hi, Stacy. No matter the time of year, be good to yourself always. Right. So, and there's a lot of things going on in my life aside from trying to get off. I've been 4 days without lorazepam. I may have to take a half of one tonight, but I'm really trying not to, because I'm noticing my cognitive ability is coming back. And for instance, okay, I've learned growing up, you don't vote, you should not complain, always vote. It wasn't long ago, it wasn't much over 120 years ago, that women couldn't vote at all. Okay? I'm sorry, but that's my grandparents' era, right? And until he makes it to the White House. Well, you know what, Willow? Hi, Pink Marshmallow. Hi, Just Me. What are you going to do with what's left in your garden? There's nothing left in my garden except some celery. I've got the first batch of cucumber seeds I did are not done. They caved in when they dried, and that means they weren't ready. And so I had Howie I had 3 frozen cucumbers, but one was still not frozen in the center, and I got all the seeds out of that, so it looks like I'm going to have cucumber seeds. Pink marshmallow from England. I almost lost my mom this year. I'm so traumatized from what happened. I love her so much and feel extremely lucky to have her today. Absolutely, Jen. Absolutely. The fact that Turdo has gotten in, we got in 2015, and it didn't take us long to realize what an absolute mistake we made. But the fact that he's managed to stay in for almost 9 years is enough to make our country almost incapacitated economically. We're having an economic crisis, it's not a housing crisis, it's an affordability crisis. 2 million people are lining up in Toronto at the food banks on a regular basis. That's just Toronto, right? So takes about a month to count them, especially those that were in Hurricane Helen have to vote. I keep waking up and turning on the election. You know what, Tina? I got up this morning. I woke up out of a start, looking at the clock, going, "Oh my God, Howie's going to be late for work." I ran out the kitchen naked, and I said, "You're going to be late for work." And he said, "I did not hardly sleep all night." I said, "What?" He said, "I kept watching the election in the States." I said, "Howard, you're the one who told me we didn't want to even hear anything until the results were in, right?" And he said, "I couldn't help myself." Light a candle and eat by candlelight. I watched. What happened in New Brunswick, Tina? They brought in a liberal government, didn't they? Remember, they all work for the same culty politics. It's a distraction. I sleep naked, Sam. Of course I was in bed. Of course I was naked. Trust me, it's not an image you want to ever see. They don't make memory pills to wipe your brain clean. There's no magic Men in Black stick that wipes the moment you saw me naked away. So get that image out of your head, because I sleep naked, and when I roll into bed at night, I have so many flaps and folds that I hear applause when I roll into bed. And it's not clapping. It's my body parts. No mind bleach either. What do you mean Soros in Canada? Oh, thank you, Phoebe. I gotta be. Might get fibro fog and forget it. Well, the thing is, I'm making chicken bone broth. We had chicken soup yesterday. And I still have to clean up the flour from making noodles. That's how low I am right now. But I'm making not macaroni. I took out one of them big packages of burger, and I'm making, piss on roast beef. Okay. Howie's favorite meal, especially in cold weather, is hamburger gravy over mashed potatoes. And now that I have instant mashed potatoes, I can make it. Body is slowly adjusting to the time change. Bring that. Oh, God, just me. Honey, Donna, thank you for my concern for the U.S. Are you kidding me? We're cheek and jowl with you guys. And I've been supporting Trump ever since he said, when I become president, if Trudeau comes into the States, I'm going to lock him up and throw away the key. So who's driving? And today, tater tots casserole. I need to make dinner tonight. I get so tired of figuring out what. I know, Lacey, I know. But you know what? Oh, here's what I wanted to tell you. There is I phoned the store where they sell the carrots and the deer carrots and apples, and there's no deer carrots in until tomorrow. Howie was supposed to get me some last night so I could be sitting live doing carrots today. But guess what they do have? they do have beets. I couldn't believe it. And I thought maybe I could get Howie to get a bag of beets. And I would, I think instead of canning them, I think I would boil them, peel them, like boil them, put them in ice water, peel them, and then slice them up and freeze in freezer bags. Well, because canned beets don't taste as good as fresh, and I like nothing more than boiling a beet with the skin on and then peeling it and slicing it up and covering it in butter and salt and pepper. But Howie's not fond of beets. But at this point, if I can get 50 pounds of beets for $10, guy, by God, I'm going to do her. I know. I don't even know what size they are, but if he gets them tonight, if I get him to get them tonight, I can probably get carrots. What's today? Wednesday. I can probably get carrots on Friday and do carrots all weekend. But tomorrow it would be beets. Boiling vast quantities of beets and putting them in tubs of ice water. You know what I mean? Roasted fresh beets. Do you roast them with the skin on? See, because I never liked beets until my dad bought one once. Great big one. And fond memories of my dad. And you're going to hear a lot of memories of my dad over the next week or so. But he would boil it. He boiled a great big beet. And I went, what the hell? Dad, I don't like beets. He goes, oh, it's good stuff. And then I said, but it's got the skin on it. And he said, watch. And he cut the root end off and the tip off after he cooked it. Because if you leave the skin on, it holds the beet color, right? So make sure they're scrubbed really well. And then he peeled it off and he sliced it in these big slabs of steamed beets. And he put butter on it. Well, back then, Dad used margarine, Fleischmann's corn oil margarine. Can you imagine? No wonder he died at 73. And salt and pepper. And it's like I could eat a whole plate of beets. I could eat a whole plate of beets with butter and salt and pepper. I'm not fond of pickled beets. If I'm cooking, you know you're safe, Freaky. Yummy fried beets. Really? Well, I know. I'm going to see if Howie will stop and pick me up a bag, and I'll work on them tomorrow. I'll work on them tomorrow. And then I will, what's today? Wednesday? And Friday, I'll get him to get carrots, and I'll work on the carrots all weekend. I love hamburger gravy and mashed potatoes. That was my father's favorite. Howie loves them. Like I gave him the choice today. I said, would you like meatloaf? Or would you like hamburger gravy over mashed potatoes? Hamburger gravy. Hamburger gravy, always. I boil them, then peel and slice and throw in frying pan with butter. Oh, I'm going to have to. Okay, you talked me into it. I'm going to get beets today. I'm going to ask Howie to loan me $20 for a bag of beets. Well, $10 for a bag of beets and then a bag. They are good for your kidneys. They are good for your kidneys. And I actually thought of dehydrating, like once they're cooked, slicing some and dehydrating them. Because do you know that red velvet cake was actually red because it was made with beet juice or crushed beets? Roasted beets. Beat it, open up your mouth and eat it. Okay, Phoebe. It wasn't the singing, it was the words. just, yeah. You use beets as dye for other foods. Hey, Robin's Nest, rose kisses. Yep, I knew about that about red velvet cake. Do you have a video for hamburger gravy? Probably. Why? You want me to do another one? I can, you know. It's just instant mashed potatoes, hamburger gravy, and beans. Beans. I made. I didn't finish the one chicken 3 meals. We made after the first chicken meal. I made a really nice stir-fried peppers and chicken and onions and celery over rice, with rice, and I threw the cooked rice in to get up all the sauce out of the pan. And then yesterday, that night, the night before last, I put the carcass in and let it simmer overnight. There was no leg bones. There was only like the back and breast and that. So I really seasoned it up with Italian seasoning and garlic and onions and salt and pepper. And then I was going to go live yesterday chopping carrots for like getting stuff organized for the soup, and I just couldn't do it. I just could not do it. I'm cleaning up Brussels sprouts for supper, and you convinced me to boil some beets to have with supper. Well, there you go. Now, how do you do your Brussels sprouts? Because I can eat a plate of boiled or steamed Brussels sprouts with butter and I'm fine, but Howie won't. And then one day somebody brought Brussels sprouts, they trimmed them, they threw them into boiling water to blanch them, drain them. And while they were blanching and draining the Brussels sprouts, they were frying bacon and onions. And then they took the bacon out and cut the Brussels sprouts in half and added them face down, the cut side down in the bacon grease. And then they seared them like that for a little bit. Oh my God, I'm so hungry. And then they crumbled all the bacon back up on top, like cut it all up back on top, and then give it a wicked stir. And I'm like, I want Brussels sprouts. But Howie doesn't eat them. Gonna make porcupine balls for the weekend. Meatballs with rice in it, in a tomato V8 sauce over rice or mashed taters. You know what? I'm wondering if I should put half of that package of meat aside. And we'll see. I mix my Brussels sprouts on a cookie sheet with sweet potatoes, onions, and spices with coconut oil. So good. Oh, that sounds good. You are explaining how I cook them. The repercussions are wicked. I remember eating a whole plate of Brussels sprouts. I was on a diet once, and I realized that the piece of meat and the little thing of Brussels sprouts and the mashed potatoes, I could have a whole plate of Brussels sprouts with butter for the same calorie content. Well, I tell you, it's actually how we found out I had a growth on my left ovary, because I was up all night in the fetal position trying to get rid of gas. And when I finally got rid of the gas, it was like somebody had kicked me in my left ovary. And that's how we found out. My sister-in-law made me go to the doctor because I was living with my brother and his wife. And she said, no, that's not normal. That's not normal. I said, well, it was just gas, but oh man, was it painful. She said, no, Bev, you got to go to the doctor. Turned out I had a growth on there was a doctor strike. I've lived through 2 doctor strikes. And there was a doctor strike, and I went to the doctor, he sent me to a gynecologist who got me an ultrasound, did another ultrasound and an internal, and operated on me all within 7 days. Because apparently it went from this on the ultrasound to this, like the size of a Macintosh apple when it was done. Brown gravy instead of tomato. Now, do you add the rice to the meat raw? That's what I want to know. Good cabbage slaw, really? With maple bacon. Oh, the bubble and squeak. Okay. Now, Sam, and where is bubblegum or pink marshmallow or whatever, the other lady from Britain? When I was a kid, when I lived in Wakefield, I had a neighbor whose family her mother was from Great Britain. And she swore up and down Bubble and Squeak was just fried cabbage. I said, no, Bubble and Squeak is leftover fried vegetables, usually with mashed potatoes and leftover cooked cabbage. So please let me know if Bubble and Squeak is basically leftover fried vegetables that have cabbage and potatoes in it, or if it's just fried cabbage. Yeah, of course. I know what Bubble and Squeak is. You know, when I come to Britain, I'm going to go to Britain. I'm going to go to Ireland. I'm going to go to Scotland, and I'm going to go to Wales. I'm going to have a meetup in each country. Not that I have that many people. over there, right? Leftover Sunday veg and potatoes. Thank you. See? Because my dad, like, oh, she swore up and down because she was 20 years older than me or 30 years older than me that I was wrong. And I said, I'm telling you, Bubble and Squeak is leftover veg from Sunday night with potatoes. And you just fry it all together. French bread and Parmesan rosemary chicken soup. Well, what I did was I took the carcass and left like this. I peeled the skin off the breast and put that in for flavor. And I cooked it overnight, and I threw in Italian seasoning, garlic, salt, pepper, and I went out into my bucket and took all the garlics that were sprouting that how we had found and dug up, and I chopped them up and I put them in. And then fresh carrots and a little bag of celery and onion. And then I made 2 egg noodles. They were thick. You know how you get the egg noodles from the store, the flat thin ones? Lay 3 of those together and you'll cooked and you'll get what my noodles were like. Mashed roasted parsnips and carrots in the Bubble and Squeak. Left it to a level. See, I have parsnips. I'm going to have to cook them soon. Mashed with butter and then whipped with salt and pepper. Bake for 30, then serve with mashed potatoes. Okay, wait a second. I got to go back here. Wait a minute. Yes, the rice goes in raw meat, roll the balls, put in boiling water until done, then put them out, make a brown gravy. Oh, so you don't roast them, you boil them. Oh my God. Bevan, you add chopped mint, aka yerba buena, good herb, and onions. Bone diggers. So I made this soup and I just loaded it with noodles. And there was actually a little bit left over for Gracie. Me too, Phoebe. I par-cooked the rice with my porcupine meatballs and just bake it in a casserole dish. Boiling meatballs is an Eastern European thing, so I can just roast them then. Where's Homestead Family? I gotta turn my fan on. It's actually, I've got my window open, but because the curtain's closed and my window really is only open this much because it's a crank out window. Hey, Grampy Campy, how's it going? Okay. Hey, Tara J, how's it going? I par-cooked the rice and my porcupine meatballs and just bake in a casserole dish. And do you do it with gravy? FL Mama Bear, Florida Mama Bear, how's it going? Oh, I'm so glad, Grampy. I am so glad. Look at my teeth. They're getting shorter and shorter. And you can see that they're, I don't know if that's my mouth that's crooked, but thought I saw a cavity there. Add mint leaves, onions, make a broth with tomatoes and zucchini and potato. See, I'm going to cook my tomatoes and my zucchini together and puree it and cook them down and then just can them that way. Tomato soup. A lot of people do that. I don't have any tomato soup. Who was smart? I missed something. Oh, my mom used instant rice. I've used regular rice, but using instant rice this time because I have it. Instant rice. I don't do instant rice. You know why? Instant rice has no nutritional value. None. Unless you make it yourself. And you all know how to make your own instant rice, right? Raise your hand if you don't know how to make infused instant rice, because I do have a video. Raw rice, ground beef, chopped onions in a ball, put in a dish with tomato juice and a can of tomato soup, salt and pepper. And then do you serve it over rice? You don't know how to make your own infused instant rice. Okay. You watched my video. That's right. Well, I always ask because there's always a lot of new folks. I could do that. I could use my garden medley vegetables. Now, do you serve it over rice? All right. You use cheese crackers. Ooh, that sounds good. Broken up in the meatballs. Porcupine meatball. You can also use, if you want to can your meatballs and you don't want to add a bread product or a flour product, get some bouillon cubes, or I'm going to be going to Bulk Barn and I'm going to get it. I get MSG free bouillon, MSG free beef bouillon and chicken. But if you have home canned broth, okay, put it in the fridge overnight and then like pour it in a bowl. Put it in the fridge overnight and skim all the fat off. Fat and dehydration do not work well together. Rice or taters, okay. Has probably eaten porcupine. I think I made them once years and years ago, but I don't think I have a video on it. So you take your broth, you skim all the fat, take any bits of meat out. Then heat it and run it through like a fine mesh sieve. And then you measure it. Okay? And for every 2 cups of broth, you do 1 1/4 or 1 and a tiny bit. Depends on whether you've got regular rice or basmati. I use basmati. And you cook it until it's done and fluffy. And then you dehydrate it. And your rice has now been cooked in a chicken broth or a beef broth. It's been dehydrated and it's now instant. And you can add it, you could cook it just like minute rice, except your rice has got all the nutrients plus the nutrients of the broth. I don't know if I have a porcupine meatballs. I can't do Bulk Barn no more. One time I found a fake nail in a container, and as I was scooping, then a lady and I was wiping her snot nose and then putting her hand in the bin to taste the... Don't tell me shit like that. But I don't know if I have a porcupine meatball video. I'm not sure I do. Love pasties. So, yeah, right? I buy things at Bulk Barn that I won't. There's certain things I won't buy in Bulk Barn. Like I won't buy anything gluten-free unless it's completely sealed in a bag in a box. Because look at Bulk Barn, right? In Michigan, I have never heard of the meatballs. Love pasties. Upper North Michigan, too. People are from near the Mack Bridge. Huh. I'm going to try porcupine meatballs. I should take half that package of ground beef. Then I'm going to make the hamburger gravy. I'll just make the hamburger gravy more runny. And I'll use that. And I'll make some porcupine meatballs. And I think what I'll do is I'll put them in the fridge overnight. Has anybody ever done that? Made up the meatballs, put them in the fridge overnight, and cooked them the next day? I'm supposed you could put rice in a meatloaf. I've done it, but I don't know if I've done it on video. Mispicked bologna ring. I used to make You can, Sherry? You can put them in the fridge overnight? It's a good way to stretch ground beef. Okay. You can freeze them too. I'm weird about thawing out meat and then refreezing it once it's been seasoned. I won't do that. But I will put them in the fridge. I will put them in the fridge overnight. Maybe I will do that today. Maybe I'll do 2 separate videos. I don't know. Okay, Stacy, thank you. So, I'm I'm going to phone Howie and see if he will pick me up some beets. Because the person at the store, when I phoned them, she said the beets are really good. She said, I've eaten some of them. They're really good. I use brown lentils to help stretch ground beef too. Oh, I never thought of that. I never thought of that. I've never used lentils before. So, like, do you boil them and then add them? Yeah, you would cook them before freezing. Absolutely, you would cook them before freezing. Unless the meatballs are raw, unless the ground beef you're using has not been frozen. Then you can make it up all raw and put them in the freezer. You can do that. Hey Nat, how's it going, sweetheart? Are you still wanting material? I emailed you and I haven't heard back yet. Wanted to have a star. Well, you know what? Yes. Hang on, let me look. Because, hang on, I got to look around my phone here. Let me look at my mail. Because I seem to have added one recently. Oh! Okay. There's like 3 of you. Okay, I will keep an eye out for it. Oh, no, okay. Your package was sent off today. Okay, Carolyn, Benjamin. Okay, so yes, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do here, folks. Hang on a second. If you want, and trust me, that quilt top is no bigger than the size for a newborn, like for an infant right now. That needs to be a minimum of a double to a queen. So yes, not all lentils need soaking. Okay, well, you email me at Connected Hearts Family. Hang on a second. And what the heck? Okay, email me at connectedheartsfamily@gmail.com. Put fabric, star fabric, in the subject line, and I will absolutely send you my address. All right, I am trusting the universe that, nobody's just going to show up at my doorstep one day because they have my address. That would be rude, right? I remember visiting with Jane Alzero, and he told me the next time you come, don't announce it that you're coming, because people were just showing up out of nowhere to see me and Jane all together. You don't. It will say on the package if it needs soaking. Okay. It may have gone to spam. Try again. But I will check my spam. This is what I'm doing, folks. If you guys haven't heard, I brought some stars in with me, but I took them back out. Anybody who wants in the Christmas card exchange, it's been closed. It was closed November 1st. Now we have until the between the 27th and the 1st of December to get them out into the mail. Okay? Here are my Christmas cards. I didn't get any Charlie Brown ones this year. They didn't have any. All they had was Disney. And I won't do Disney. And this is the closest I could get to the red truck with the Christmas tree. It's the buck Howie wants to bring home. But I only have 13 people on my list. Now listen, if you have already received, there are 2 of us. Alice Silva is doing the one for the U.S. and the same rules apply. After November 1st, there are no more entries. Now, I had someone tell me that they wanted all 13 names on the list to do Christmas cards, but they weren't in. They didn't put it in before the draw. So here's the deal. I know. Exactly, Sam. Exactly. How do I cook colored split peas? Green, orange, yellow. I don't know. Ask Sam. She knows more about it than I do. I never get. Well, then you have to unsubscribe, resubscribe, and click the bell. And I recommend everybody. If you can't, if I don't show up on your thing on a regular basis, then you've been unsubscribed by YouTube. They're doing it. I hate lentils. I got a huge box of them one time, and I gave them away. Well, the bakery I worked at used to make a vegetarian lentil pie, which was really, really good. And I mean, we had Thanksgiving once, and a friend of mine was a vegetarian, and I bought her one of these pies for Thanksgiving because she's like, I don't like to go to people's house for Thanksgiving. She said because they go, oh, you're vegetarian. Well, here's some salad and some potatoes. It's like, no, 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 that's not the way I roll, right? I've been out of the loop and missed the Christmas card exchange. Well, I'm really, really sorry, but here's the deal. If you're Canadian, Willow, are you Canadian? If you're Canadian and you're in the greeting card exchange on the Canadian side and you want to add an extra person to your list, please email me at bevvolfie@gmail.com. All one word, BEVVOLFIE, and say, I will add an extra name. Because Carolyn came in, and I can't remember if she missed it or not, but she said, give me all 13 names. And I said, yeah, but they're not going to get your names. So please, if you're willing to add an extra name to your list, please let me know, email me, and I will send you Carolyn's address because she's sending out to everybody. At the risk of stirring things up, did you hear about our election? Stir what up? Trump won. What? This is one of the reasons why most of my family doesn't talk to me. Because most of my family is woke as shit. And I gotta say it. They're just woke. And I love my family, but I've been through enough to realize that woke people will, they're only sticking in my life to be polite. So I gave everybody the option to just, it's okay, don't need you. If you're just sending me Christmas cards, not you guys, but my family, if you're only showing up once every couple of years or once a year for an hour and a half, and you're sending me Christmas cards and texts to say goodnight, but we're not communicating, then don't bother. It's that simple. It's really that simple. I'm 60 years old, and I have spent 55 years of my life trying to be included in my own family. And the ones that include me, with the exception of my sister, the ones that include me would only do it like don't get too close, she's got cooties or something, right? Now, they may love me, but I don't feel loved. And it's okay. They love me in their own way, but I know love. And if all you can do is send me a Christmas card and a text and at night to say goodnight, I send Christmas cards out to a lot of family. But, it is what it is, right? What's DJ? Bev has my address. Okay, no, Willows, you can't do that. You can't do that. I don't have everybody's address. I can't go back through shit. So you guys are going to have to figure it out between you. So put your email address, like you guys connect with your own email addresses. Don't say Bev's got my email address or has my address and send people looking for me, because I don't keep them. Okay? I don't keep them. That's okay. Hi, Diamond. You can cry. We will cheer. What are we talking about? What did I see? What did I miss? What did I miss? You put your everybody, if you don't already have an email address, here's the deal. I have 4 email addresses. I think I've gotten rid of one. I have 4 email addresses. And I have one for close friends and family. I have one for like seed stuff. I have one for I have a Connected Hearts one. I have email addresses that say my real name and my full name, and I have some that just say me as Bev Foley or Mrs. Volpe, right? So that's why I can give those email addresses out. If you have an email address that doesn't have your actual name on it, right? Like woohoo@gmail.com kind of thing, share your email address with each other, okay? Because that's how I stay in touch with y'all, right? It wasn't even a dinner, Carol. It was like sit on my deck and have a cup of tea, right? And make me feel uncomfortable in my own home. Not happening no more. It's okay, right? It's taken me 55 years and 5 years, these last 5 years, of a great deal of emotional, mental, and spiritual inventory work. When I say inventory, does anybody know what I mean when I say inventory work on yourself? Doesn't like Trump and thinks it's sad that we're celebrating. Well, Canada's really close, is cheek and jowl with the United States. And all we can hope for now is that we get rid of Trudeau. Because I'm sure Monsieur Poilievre, if he, our next Prime Minister of Canada, because it ain't going to be Jagmeet sellout Singh, and it ain't going to be Trudeau. Because if it is, I know many, many people who will leave this country. I am proud of my country. I have marched for marijuana. I have marched against Monsanto. I have marched for medical autonomy, and I was at the convoy when it arrived, waving flags. And I'll tell you something. I may not have been in any wars, but I have marched for my country. If Trudeau gets back in or sellout Singh gets in, I'm moving. I'm moving. Yeah. The truth is, all politicians are crooked to a degree. It is what it is. However, this is the only choices we have, is to vote. Gracie, I don't know how long Gracie's gonna be with us. She's developing lumps under her skin, and not just the external ones, but she's developing lumps, and as long as she's not in pain, I'm not going to worry about it, right? Unlike most of the people in the U.S. that said they would move if Kamala didn't win, would you back your words up? Well, that depends, Lacey. I may leave my country, I may move to Alberta. Howie and I actually have been talking of moving to Alberta. For several reasons. It's kind of like Quebec, where it's almost its own. It's kind of like Alberta is the Texas of Canada. Let's say that. Alberta is the Texas of Canada. And it's only a 28-hour drive to Las Vegas. I don't know if I would move to the States. But it's an option. Because, I'm one of those people where I would probably move to like Pennsylvania, West Virginia, or New York. But if I stayed in Canada, it would have to be like Alberta. Right? Forget BC. I once thought of moving to New Brunswick. Glad we didn't, because they just voted in a Liberal government. I've lost Uncle. Okay, here we go. It's Remembrance Day coming. You guys call it Veterans Day in the States, but here in Canada, it's Remembrance Day. And it's a huge deal. It's a huge deal. And I want to tell you a little story. Shall we talk about this? Both of my grandfathers fought in World War One. Both of them. Okay? One in the Royal, I believe my grandfather was in the Royal Scots Guards. I'll have to check with my sister. My grandfather on my mother's side fought with Canadian troops. And when my dad and my brother were little, my grandmother on my dad's side, I guess they had it was in the 1920s, and my grandmother was still alive, 1920s, early 30s, and the rumblings of war were happening in Europe. And my grandmother, who died, Dad was 8 when she died. He was born in 1926. So my grandmother died probably 1932. So, and my dad told me that his mother said to both her sons, if war comes to this country and you don't sign up to defend it, I'll disown you. That's my grandmother. And on my mom's side, every single one of all of my uncles that I am aware of, Uncle Joe, Uncle Jim, Uncle Bill, Uncle Paul, and my Aunt Jane's husband, Uncle Reg, and they all, and my Uncle Art, on my dad's older brother. Now here's the sad part. My dad's mother died when he was 8. My grandfather was already a drinker, brilliant, artistic man. But when his wife died, that was it. That was it. And he turned to the drink really, really hard. Now, my dad was 8. His older brother was 6 years older than him. He was 16. And he pretty much raised my dad until he went into World War II. And in World War II, my uncle and a bunch of him were on leave in the country. You know how they would send, this was in England, and they were on leave in the country. And they would send all the children out of the city to be on farms to keep them safe. Not everyone sent their kids out of the city, right? Some sheltered in subway stations and stuff like that, in the tube. But they would send a large majority of children out of the heart of London into the countryside to foster on farms to keep them safe. And I guess my uncle and a couple of his friends were on leave in this small country town, and they went to an afternoon matinee, and a bomber got lost in the. They went to the cinema. I don't know if it was afternoon. I don't know if it was night, but a bomber got lost in the fog. A German bomber got lost in the fog and hit the movie theater. And my uncle and his friends died saving kids. Now, my uncle died over there and was buried over there, and my dad told me the story of the only thing his parents got was a telegram and a bill for the blanket they buried him in, and a picture of the White Cross, which is now concrete. And as soon as my father was 17 and old enough, he went and he joined up as an air gunner. Now, everybody knows air gunners are it's like a suicide. It's like a suicide mission, right? But he never made active service because the war ended. The war ended before he could actually see active duty, but he went through everything, right? But he joined up hard and fast, and the only place that would take him because he wanted vengeance, right? My father came home. My mom's brothers all came home, but my Uncle Art didn't, and he's buried over in England. And I had a friend, when I first started talking to people on the internet, long before this kind of talk. You would talk in chat rooms and stuff, or you'd meet on a gaming site and you'd just have conversations. And a person I met named Mickey found my uncle, like printed out. I showed a picture of my uncle Art on the internet. I sent it to him. He printed it off, put it in a plastic sleeve, bought pink roses for me, and drove and found my uncle's graveyard, put the picture and the roses on it, and took a picture for me. And I've lost that picture. But, okay, just me. I'm leaving shortly anyway. But the thing is war is huge business. And the United States have made a huge business out of war. And here's another problem with Trudeau. He says it's going to take 8 years for us to get up to the point where we're spending spending our 2% on our defenses for NATO. We're about to get kicked out of NATO. And some people think that's okay, but it's not. Why? Because NATO is a group of countries that protect each other militarily if they're threatened. So if Canada's threatened and we don't have any NATO backup, we have hardly any military worth having at all anymore. Thank you, Trudeau. Right? So how old is Gracie now? Well, that's a question that I think she's 8, but she might be 9 going on 10. Right? But we don't know. I do know. Hang on a second. Let me just look. Let me just do a quick search on my channel. Family, I think it's a family edition. Hang on. No. Let me look up Gracie. I don't know. Hang on a second. Okay. 7 years ago, we got Frankie. Okay, I don't know. She's 8. 8 going on 9. She'll be 9 in April. No, we got her in April. She'll be 9 in February. Because I give her her birthday as we got her on the 11th of April, but I think she was early. So we say that Valentine's Day is her birthday. Well, she doesn't seem sick. She scratched her eye, which is almost completely healed. And she's just slowing down, that's all. Anyway, in Canada, less emphasis has been putting on supporting our military with, I almost joined the military. Do you know that? When I was 19? I went, my cousin Jane and I went, Janie, not the other Jane, Janie. And I went and we went into Toronto from Oakville and we did all the aptitude tests. It was an entire day. And that's how I learned my social insurance number. Because in the military, your social security number or your social insurance number, here in Canada, your social insurance number is your number. It's your number. And when you're writing tests or anything else, forget your name. You write that on every single top of every single test you write, every page you write your number on the top. And they wanted me. They wanted me. They could tell. They could tell there was military blood in me. They wanted me, but I had to lose 50 pounds. And I had my breast reduction surgery, but I had to lose 50 pounds, and I ended up moving to Bowmanville and getting a job with my other cousin, and they actually found me and phoned me in Bowmanville and said, we still want to know if you're interested in joining, because I was going to, back then, they wouldn't let women join the infantry. So I was going to be a mobile support equipment operator, which means I was going to be a mechanic. And I would be able to, well, I don't know if it was a mechanic, but I was going to be able to drive everything from Jeeps to 18-wheelers when I was done. Jolie, you're not happy. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. And Canada would be backed up by Britain and the Commonwealth, NATO or not. I get that. But you just don't want to piss off the people that protect you by not doing your part. 8 years to get up to our 2%. I'm sorry. He's been the line in the pockets of all his cronies, and there's so much corruption going on within the Liberal and the NDP government that it's insanity. It's insanity. I joined at 21. My mother wouldn't have agreed. I did it my way. I hope so. But do you honestly think Trump's going to back Trudeau? We got to get rid of him, man. And no, I don't mean it like that. I mean, we got to vote him out and then arrest him on charges against Canadians and throw away the friggin' key. Hey, Renita! Don Beelman, hi. You think it's a sad day in the U.S.? Well, time will tell. I personally think Kamala Harris would have been a grave, grave mistake. Just the fact that J-Lo and Lady Gaga and Obama and Oprah Winfrey were backing Kamala Harris should have put alarm bells across the world. You know what I mean? I wish we could sign a piece of paper to let Trump know how many of us Canadians support him. Me too. People aren't learning, and I'm afraid he will be voted in again. What are we talking about? Who? Okay. Oh, no. In all honesty, I think that would spark a rebellion. I may be too old to fight, but I stand for my country. And I have the black mark on my heart and soul that I voted for him in 2015. I voted for Trudeau. Within a year, within his first speech on Canada Day, I was disgusted. Absolutely. Trudeau, I'm from BC. Okay, what does that mean, Jen? Does that mean you vote for Trudeau? You know what, Jolie? She's not wrong. Sam is not wrong. Now, here's the deal, folks. Here's the deal. And I may have to go on a live and do, we may have to go on a live on Life with the Wolfies and do an uplifting. But here's the deal. This is still a country of free speech. And this is still, well, I don't know if YouTube's a place, it's not a place of free speech. But the truth is you have a right to your own opinion. And you know what? You're allowed. But you see, the thing is you're allowed to your opinion, and we respect your right to your opinion. But I also respect Sam's right to her opinion. And I just happen to echo that opinion. Now here's the deal. there is going to be a wide swath of people in the Western world who are not going to understand why the rest of the people are rejoicing that Trump got in. And that is because they think Kamala Harris is an answer. And here's my personal opinion. She was 3.5 years as vice president with a failing cognitive president in charge. Who do you think was actually running things? And now she's going to clean it up when she had 3.5 years to do all the right things. And she didn't. But now she's going to? Don't believe it for a moment. The fact that she had to have J-Lo and Lady Gaga and Oprah, women of, these people come out and back her. If the people who can't see how dangerous that was, how close the United States came to being totally capitulated into the fall of the Roman Empire by Kamala getting in, then you're not going to wake them up by telling them. So people have a right to their own opinion, absolutely. Doesn't necessarily mean the rest of us have to agree. Right? And Whoopi and The View. And folks, I'm not saying if you believe in that you're wrong. I have no right to tell you what your opinion should be. But I am going to tell you, I breathed a huge sigh of relief. And I'm Canadian. It's the wealthy that were afraid. You mean it's the wealthy that were afraid of Kamala or Trump? I'm not sure I missed that. Okay? Because I've watched Trump. I've watched him. And everyone's like, oh, he uses, he's tax fraud, tax this, tax. Never has a man who wanted to be president been so persecuted. And yet, why would he stop all the business, all his work with his own businesses, which earn him millions of dollars a year, to take up a job worth $400,000 a year, unless he was doing it to save his country, unless he totally believed in what he was doing, right? Well, that's what it feels like, S. Bender. Okay, Sybil. Okay, honey. Right? And, when Hillary was running, and she was like, oh, he uses the tax system and blah, 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 tax breaks and yada, yada, yada. And he said, do you know why she knows that? Because she's the one who helped put all those tax breaks for the wealthy in place for all of her friends. I use it. He said, Trump knows the tax laws and statutes inside out, backwards and forwards because he's a businessman. And he's not stupid not to use them. But everybody's accusing him of using the system when they built that system to be used for themselves and their friends. Oh, Hillary. Right? Absolutely. Of course he doesn't accept a paycheck. He doesn't need to. Right? But then on our side, you got Trudeau. You got a $400 billion slush fund. Okay? The government appointed a board of directors to study and hand out $400 million to businesses that were showing green climate change initiative. Now, did everybody get that straight? The government of Canada elected a board to disperse $400 million. Now, these were all business owners, right? And they hired them because they are business owners, and they can best judge what business is with the green initiatives that the money should go to. Over half of them spent the money on their own companies. Over half of that board, do your own research, spent the money on their own companies, putting it right back into their own companies. That's just one incident of corruption in our government. Oh, I know, Tina. I said I would vote for a trained chimp before I would vote for Hillary, and that was before Trump, right? I don't have to leave. Okay, wait a sec. It's okay. I'm just saying I am still allowed to voice my opinion. And that's all this is. This is an opinion. And I used to hate Trump. I used to think he was an egotistical, overpuffed, loudmouth schmuck. And that all may be true. But it doesn't mean he's not a proud American. It does not mean he doesn't want what's best for his country, because he does. Because he does. Okay? He can be a loudmouth, schmuck, blowhard, egotistical, person. But it doesn't change the fact that he could still be a really excellent president because he loves his country. If people, well, you know what's going to happen is they're all going to, anybody who doesn't like my opinion is going to report this, and the video will get taken down. That's okay. Yes, you don't have to like a person as long as they do the job right. I like Trudeau, and he screwed us. I'm terrified that Pierre Poilievre's going to get in, and he's going to be the same. It's going to be same shit, different day. But somehow I don't believe it. Somehow I think Pierre Poilievre is going to be Canada's answer to Trudeau and to Jagmeet. And I really hope, and this is the first time in my life that I actually became a conservative. And it doesn't mean the same as in the US. Please know that. It doesn't mean the same. My dad was NDP. My mother was conservative. I ended up voting Liberal. That's what happens when an NDP marries a conservative. Right? So I have just decided that, this is my last kick at the can when it comes to politics. If Pierre Poilievre doesn't get in, and Trudeau or Jagmeet sellout Singh gets in, or Trudeau gets in, there may be nothing left of my country to leave, except maybe to Alberta. Oh, yes, Molly! Robert Kennedy Jr. I hope Trudeau Trump, it's TRU. I hope Trump keeps his promise to put Robert Kennedy Jr. in charge of things like the FDA. Because I'm telling you, he is amazing when it comes to talking about food additives and drug additives and all that stuff. I hope so. I am excited too. Anyway, I don't know if this video is going to get taken down, but that's okay. I think I've said Trump, Trudeau, Pierre Poilievre, and elections enough. It probably will get taken down because we know YouTube is a censored site. So I hope you all enjoyed this. I cannot go live on Rumble until I have a new computer. The graphics card or something has gone on this computer. It started when I was playing really busy games. And then after an hour, my monitor would go and do all these little geometric patterns and colors, and I'd have to restart my computer. Now it won't even acknowledge webcams, and that's how I have to go live on Rumble. So don't know who. I thought you just got that computer. Yeah, tell me about it, right? So no, Briar. As much as you think Briar knows a lot about computers, he only knows how to use them and what qualify him to play games with. And Arthur is a Mac person. So but I do know where to get the computer I want, and that's what I'm going to get, one way or another. If I can get it before February, I will, but it's going to cost me like $2,500. So I have to wait until I can afford it, because like everybody else in the Western world, our economy sucks, and I can't afford one right now. There will be a quilting live soon, because that's what I meant to tell you, okay? I'm going to need a lot of stars. Now, I don't need a lot of fabric. No more than a 12 by 12 inch piece. Okay? It can be this size, right? Or a fat quarter, 22 by 18. Nothing bigger, unless you're sending me solid yellow fabric. If you're sending me solid yellow fabric, you can send me up to a half a yard, because that's the edges of my stars and the centers of my stars, right? No, Freaky Geek. No, Linex is a computer. And so if anybody still wants to send me fabric, this is what I'm doing. Whenever a piece of fabric comes in the mail, I'm actually expecting a couple today. I'm going to pin the person's name to it. I'm going to do a 60-second short saying, okay, so-and-so, your fabric has arrived, and I'll pin your name to it. And when I have a pile, or not a pile, but when I have enough to do a couple, then I'm going to sit down and do a live and show you cutting it out and sewing it together. And then some days the lives will be me sitting and sewing them together in strips to put together. Not a computer, just a system. I just need a new tower. I need a new tower. This is crap. I need 32 gigabytes of RAM. I need a shit ton of storage. And so what I'm going to do is I'm not going to go back to TikTok Tech, because Stefan, he told the company he only made $150, but he built my computer for $700, and it's falling apart. It's falling apart. I have to delete. I cannot even save my videos for more than a month. Everything, all my raw and all my rough footage and my regular footage has to be deleted, or things start crashing. I know where the power button is, exactly. If you only posted today, it's going to need time to show up. Right. But you see, this is what they do. When I do a live stream on YouTube, I have tried, once it closes, to go over and download it, and they won't let me download my own video until they've gone over it with a fine-tooth comb. They take 24 hours to process the video. They take 24 hours to process the video, and then they decide whether or not I can have it or not. And if they deem that my video is too much stuff that they need to censor it, they will take it down. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get on I have something called Bandicam. And you don't have to pay for bandicam.com. And what Bandicam lets you do, it lets you record right off your screen, because I don't have a screen recorder on my editing software. And I'm going to go back over this and watch it, and I'm going to record all the highlights, and I'm going to put it up on Rumble, talking about how things are going. So my huge screen is a TV. I have a 65-inch TV. I bought that thing off the floor because they want it. I said, no, I want it. I want that one. Oh, we can give it to you. I said, well, I want a discount because it's a floor. It's a display model. So back when that TV was $5,600, we got it for $24. So, Bev, I'm always on the YouTube naughty list. Are you kidding? So listen, who wants to go and do a loving vibrations? Because we have been talking about a lot of stuff. Actually, what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to working in the kitchen, how to freeze bananas without browning. Mash them and put them in freezer bags like I did with my pumpkin. Mash them and put them in freezer bags. And then squeeze all the air out and ziplock them and lay them flat. I'm just thankful my little brother bought me a new computer for Christmas last year with a huge screen. Well, if I could afford it, if I thought my family could afford it, I'd ask them. Freeze then where the sun don't shine. No sun tan brownie. I can't handle the good vibration stream, Auntie Bev. Sorry. Yeah. I don't think I'm going to do one today. I might do one tomorrow. Right? Hey, Mary Beth. How are you, darling? Did you just get here? Did you just get here? Listen, we've been here for an hour and a half, and I have to get off here and do some dishes and start thinking about whether I'm going to divide my hamburger or we're going to eat a shit ton of hamburger gravy over mashed potatoes. That just might be hamburger gravy over mashed potatoes. But I might make the porcupine meatballs and roast them and freeze them another day. Hey, Michelle. Michael, hi. Is this Brenda? So, email me at if you have received. Where the hell did that go? I can't live on Rumble right now until I have a new computer. Canadians, if that's supposed to be at gmail.com, not pound, okay? You know, somebody for sure is going to try and make that an email address. bevvolfie@gmail.com. If you were on the list for the seed and greeting card exchange and you're willing to add an extra person to your list, please email me and say extra person in the subject line, and I will send you an address because this person came in late. I couldn't redo it, but she's sending out cards to everybody anyway. So I would really like it if at least half the people on the 13 people list will send an extra card. Try StreamYard and you can record your lives. I've tried StreamYard and all I've ever gotten was a black screen. Nobody, people could see me, but I couldn't see, right? Thank you, Sam. 2 V's next to each other looks like a W. I know. It's BEVVOLFIE. Okay. Listen, folks, I'm going to go. And to all my friends in the United States who are happy about Trump getting in, I'm happy for you. For all the people who wanted Kamala, well, I personally am not, and I'm happy she didn't get in. And here's hoping that Canada wises up too and gets rid of Trudeau and Salit Singh. Okay? That's all I got to say. I love you guys. Take care. God bless. Good on you, America. Good on you. Mwah! I love you. Take care. God bless. Don't ever forget that, okay?